Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews. Today, thanks to Infinity of Nashua, we have our 2025 Lexus RX350. This one is the premium, so just above the base trim level. I got some jackets, I like it. I'll have to give those back to the owners. First time spending any time in the new RX350. Obviously, I sorely miss the V6 that it had. That is a bit of a shame that it is no longer with us. This 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder isn't a bad motor. 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. I do like this interior. I tried to say terracotta and interior and the same thing, and that didn't work. So yeah, that's why I'll put that in there. Interior design's really nice. Sticker price on this one was $58 and change, which is a lot of money. For some reason, I remember Lexus RXs being $40,000 cars, not $60. And then once you get to the F Sport and stuff, I'm sure you could option one of these out to 70 grand, which is absolutely mind-blowing for a 2-row SUV. But that's where everything's going. I do like the fact that the center console, you can open it from either side. So if you're on a road trip, passenger wants to go in there, they can do that. I like that a lot. Let's see, this is your charging cable set. Yep, all your charging cables, stuff like that, which is pretty darn cool. It just all slides right back in there. Typical Toyota shifter, easy enough to use. Your drive modes, this took me a minute to find, are in here. I looked for a switch everywhere, couldn't find one, so that's where they are hidden. Backup camera, into drive. Let's go for a drive. 8-speed torque converter auto. I do like this transmission. It shifts very quickly when it needs to, while also being pretty comfortable. Speaking of being comfortable, these seats are great. The sight lines, the visibility is awesome. Building off of the comment of 58 grand being a lot of money, I will say that every touch point is very nice. All this, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's fake, but it all looks good. The wood trim, I mean, it looks good. The headliner, it's in Alcantara, but it's like a faux suede. Even the sun visor has it. It's just really all very nicely done. I do like on the back side of the dashboard where that kind of separation is, the ambient light shines through that, so at night it kind of glows. I like that a lot. Back to this 2.4 liter. I've driven this 2.4 in a couple different cars now. The Grand Highlander, the normal Highlander. I'm used to this motor now. It's not terrible. I mean, it doesn't sound as good as that 3.5 liter V6, and it never will, but it works. It has a great amount of torque, great amount of power, and the transmission actually is pretty good at keeping you in that power band. Do have paddle shifters behind the wheel. I think those are more useful on an F Sport than the premium, but they're there. Another minor complaint, and again, I'm nitpicking for 90% of the buyers of this car, the brake pedal feels really artificial. A lot of cars are brake-by-wire now. That's no surprise to me. But this one definitely has minimal feel to it. It does build in pressure as you apply more and more, but it's definitely a little bit harder to modulate this in traffic. Again, it's something you'll get used to. I've only been in the car for a day, so. In terms of noise insulation, everything like that, harshness, vibrations, they're kept to a minimum. A little bit of tire noise on some rougher roads, not too bad. Yeah, it's a very impressive car. I get why they're so popular, and I'm very curious to see, you know, because the 3.5 liter V6 RXs, the old ones, I've seen them with 300,000 miles still running and driving great. I want to see what happens with these. If there's anybody I trust with mechanical reliability, it's Toyota. So I don't know how many problems they'll have with this 2.4. That's to be determined, because it's still relatively new. I think it was introduced in the 22 or 23 model year in the Highlander. So other thing that's weird, and some of you that are still watching to this point can answer it in the comments. I tried doing a little bit of research and I couldn't really get anywhere. I don't know why in a lot of new Toyota products, almost all of them I've driven, they show the brake lights on the dashboard. So you'll see, like when I go for the brakes, there's two little red lines appear. I don't get the purpose behind that, because as the driver, you know when you're hitting the brakes. And I mean, yes, I can also see it being purposeful when you're in radar cruise or adaptive cruise control and it hits the brakes, but again, you can feel that as a driver. If you can't, you shouldn't be driving. But I just don't get the purpose behind it. And it's not like the brakes aren't LEDs that are supposed to last for years. It's not like they're little bulbs. Okay, yeah, I can get that, but all it reminds me of is the school buses that have those. When I was a kid, I always loved watching the driver of the school bus. That's, I think, a little bit of the autism in me. But the light monitor that was up in the top corner of the school bus displays up on the roof, that's what it reminds me of, and I can't see a purpose for that. I don't get why it's there. But that's not a complaint with this car. It's every single Toyota that I've driven with the virtual dashboard has it. I mean, everything from the Corolla Cross to the Tacoma. And you can't tell me that there's a lot of people out there like, yes, I want to know on the dashboard when I'm hitting the brakes. What? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.